Future forms, different structures that we can use to talk about the future. So we all know that we can use will to talk about the future. So tomorrow I will go to the shops. It will rain later today, or they will go to Spain next year. However, this is not the only structure that we can use to talk about the future, nor is it the most common structure that we use to talk about the future. So let's compare these sentences. I will visit my parents next weekend. I'm going to visit my parents next weekend. I'm visiting my parents next weekend. These are all structures that we can use to talk about the future. We have will plus the infinitive without to, be going to plus the infinitive, and the present continuous. Each one of these sentences, however, has a slightly different meaning. So we use will most of the time for instant decisions. So it's an idea that came to me in the moment. Like, I haven't seen my parents for a while. I think I'll visit them next weekend. Okay. Be going to is almost the next step in our decision-making process. So will talks about the idea. Be going to talks about the decision. So I have made the decision to go and visit my parents next weekend. I'm going to visit my parents next weekend. Then we can move forward into the present continuous. Once we make the arrangements, we know when, we know what time, we know where, etc. So I'm visiting my parents this weekend. I'm going to their house for dinner at 7 o'clock on Saturday. Okay, the arrangement has been made. The difference between be going to and the present continuous is not very big. It's the difference between the decision and the arrangement. So we can use them almost interchangeably. I'm going to visit my parents next weekend. I'm visiting my parents next weekend. The difference in meaning is not very big. Now let's compare be going to and will for future predictions. We can use both will plus the infinitive without to and be going to plus the infinitive to talk about future predictions. For example, look at those dark clouds. It's going to rain later. I think you'll love New York. In the first example, be going to, there is evidence for my prediction. I can see dark clouds, so my prediction is that it's going to rain based on evidence. Will, on the other hand, is just my idea. I think you'll love New York. I don't have any concrete evidence to prove this, but it's my thought. It's my own personal prediction. So be going to for predictions with evidence, will for opinions, ideas, and predictions that are not based on real evidence. Now let's look at all of the ways that we can use will. We can use will for instant decisions. I'm at a restaurant. I look at the menu. I'll have the steak. I decided in that moment. We can also use it to make a promise. So I promise I won't tell anyone, or I promise I'll go out with you tomorrow night, but I'm not feeling well today. We can use will to make an offer. I'll get you a cup of tea. I'll help you with your bags. We can use will to make a prediction. I think South Africa will win the next Rugby World Cup because they are my team and I support them. We can also use will for future facts. So Christmas will be on a Saturday this year. If we want to make an offer or suggestion in the question form using the first person pronouns, so I, first person singular, or we, first person plural, we can use shall instead of will. So, shall we go out for dinner tonight? or shall I get you a cup of coffee? We can also use the present simple to talk about the future. However, we only use the present simple to talk about future timetables. So the train leaves at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, or their plane arrives at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Okay, and that is more or less all of the ways and all of the structures we can use to talk about the future. Bye.